by the specific cryptocurrency company that was making that particular currency. So Monero had the Monero wallet, we had the Zcash client, and Bitcoin developers developed their Bitcoin wallet and all that kind of stuff. It was mostly command line clients, and there were no standards for the user interface or the user experience. So sometimes the address would be presented first, sometimes it was the amount. Now we've decided that the address should probably be first. The fee was sometimes added on top, sometimes subtracted from your amount. So whenever you sent a transaction, it was really fun to see what your balance would be afterward. That's been fixed. And it wasn't the best quality. You know, you could expect something to not work at that time. But luckily, that is in the past. In 2018, a surge of multi-currency wallets popped up. And there were a lot of desktop GUI and mobile GUI wallets and a lot of UI maturation. It also significantly improved in quality, so you didn't have to be pessimistic when you were trying to send something. And I think that it really took a lot for the wallets to integrate a lot of different cryptocurrencies, and it enabled the ecosystem to be more cohesive, and I was really happy with that. In 2019, I would say that the wallets that we have are really feature rich. They have things like price tracking, built-in block explorers, news updates, indicators for if the network is down, and all this kind of stuff. There is web and mobile wallets that are coming out right now, and I think that's the most popular way to use wallets at the moment. And everything is really slick. It's professional quality. They care about uptime and scalability, reliability, and I am really excited to see how wallets are going to look in the future. So what I think we need in this year and the coming years forward is first the onboarding from user funds, especially from fiat, because a lot of the wallets with a lot of user base and market share are run by these huge exchanges. And some of you might be okay with that. I'm kind of okay with that, but not especially. But I think the big reason is that it's hard to get your funds from your fiat funds into cryptocurrency. And when you have a wallet, it's really convenient to use one that's integrated with the exchange where you bought your crypto from. I would like to think that's the real reason why they're so popular, and if we fix this on-ramping issue, that a lot of the more community-built wallets will prosper, but we shall see. Another big thing that I think has been covered a lot in the other talks are shielded light client support. Currently, there is no mobile app that has a shielded light client that allows for sampling transactions. We have a reference wallet that is a resource for other wallets to be able to do that. I know that Gorda actually rolled out some test app that actually demonstrate this. Zec Wallet has been trying to test consider doing this in the future, but it is not yet. But I think it'd be really great to get shielded addresses for everyone that uses Zcash. I think that my goal as the project manager for the reference wallet team is to just sneak it in for everyone that has adopted transparent addresses somehow. I'll let you know how that goes in a little bit, I suppose, for next year. The third thing that we really need in 2019 and onward is shielded and transparent interoperability. So not only do users have this problem from onboarding from fiat to crypto, but once they have Zcash, they need to transfer their transparent funds into shielded funds. And in fact, a lot of the wallets like Zec Wallet, the full nodes wallet that support shielded transactions, and they are shielded first, they say the first two transactions are transparent from the exchange to their transparent address and from the transparent address to their shielded sampling address. And a lot of wallets don't actually support the transparent to shielded send because of the way that the current light clients are implemented. So there is some interoperability issue that we hope to solve. In the reference wallet, we currently only have shielded addresses, but we're trying to add things like transparent addresses and transparent to shielded send. So we're trying to help out with this somehow, but we also need the community and the existing light clients to be able to send to shielded addresses as well. So I'm going to go over the age-old question that I get asked a lot because I use a lot of these wallets. Which wallet is the best? I can't choose quite one, but I'm going to highlight some of my favorites for you, and I'm going to tell you why I like them and a bit about them. So this is just kind of a party celebrating everyone that I think is pretty great. Before I get into that, though, I'm going to just tell you how I determined which one I liked the most. I essentially looked at a bunch of wallets on the internet, specifically the ones that we recommended on Zcash.wallets, now electronico/wallets. I downloaded it, set it up. I did everything that the app told me to do. If there was a tutorial, I did the tutorial. If they asked me to back up the keys, I did that. If they didn't, I didn't do that. And I went from left to right, top to bottom, literally try to do everything in the app at a bare minimum, send and receive, but also exchange, buying funds, anything you can name. And you got points if essentially your app had good availability on mobile and desktop. I can send and receive without running into some errors. The balance isn't confusing. It requires backing up your key, provides some extra security, whether that be preventing your screen from being recorded, extra two-factor authentication, some light re-authentication with the fingerprint to send funds, things like that. And another bonus point for exchanging and fiat on-ramping. And I gave some apps some minus points if they stopped or crashed or lost my funds or made me annoyed. But they had to annoy me 3 times for them to lose a point. So I think I was pretty fair in that. The first wallet I want to highlight is the Zec wallet. I did this study back before Zepio reached out to me. So oops, Zepio didn't get to be evaluated for this list. It has everything that a Zcash maximalist would want. It's a full node wallet. I think you guys all know of it. I'm just preaching to the choir here. It's Zedder first. It's made by a developer named Aditya, who's based out of San Francisco, and he's really, really into trying out Zcash-specific features, and I think you should give it a go. The only reason why it got an 8 out of 10 is that it didn't support other cryptocurrencies, which is on purpose, or fiat on-ramping, which is on purpose. So technically, he has the wallet that he had intended to build, which I think is pretty cool. This is something I would recommend for people who really want to get into Zcash, this or Zepio, so they can actually use things like memo fields, all types of transactions, including shielded. And those are currently only available for full nodes wallets on the moment, so just this and Zepio and a couple others on the market. I think there's about 4 or 5, just for reference. The best overall wallet, I think, is Gorda, and they have a really soft spot in my heart. I think someone from Gorda is actually in the audience. And the reason why I like Gorda so much was that I've been following them since 2017, and they have some insane velocity. And what makes the Gorda wallet stand out from a lot of other multi-currency wallets is that when you have a multi-currency wallet, they usually pick the lowest common denominator. They don't usually expose features that are specific to a cryptocurrency. So they have send and receive, but they wouldn't have things like shielded transactions or memo fields or things that are specific to a specific cryptocurrency. But the Gorda wallet is a really slick, easy-to-use interface that is organized very well. It supports very many cryptocurrencies, but it also does cool things like if a cryptocurrency has specific features, they choose to implement and leverage them, and they were actually one of the first people to try to get shielded implementation working, and they even kind of did so before Electronic Coin Company tried to get it to work on Android. So they were even beating us to the punch. So I think that's why I really like them a lot. And I think they have a lot of other cool stuff that they work on, and I didn't remember all of them, so I wrote them down here. They have a token generator, an exchange, a way to purchase funds. You can preload prepaid cards and work with their hardware wallet. So it is a huge ecosystem, and this is what I would recommend for someone, I guess, who is somewhat technical and crypto enthusiast, and they kind of want to explore everything. You can make your own coin, you can try all of the quirks of all the different coins that they support, and you should check them out. They're based in the EU, which is also good, geographic diversity. I'm going to highlight the best institutional wallet. So this is what I would recommend for people who are mainstream and they want to feel safe or something like that. And I think that the Trust Wallet also has my heart because it's
made by Dimitri and Victor, and they are a team that has a really long history of launching successful apps. They are definitely hackers. They write C++ code. Yes, it's in C++. I'll forgive them for that, whatever. But they are a really small, agile team that was bought out by Trust, and they have a lot of autonomy. And in fact, they are allowed to have that autonomy specifically from a strategic plan point, I hear. Oh, Binance, sorry, yeah. Anyway, so they actually move really fast. They're highly technical. I only evaluated these wallets on the usability of them, but they have a really cool technical stack as well. And by cool, I mean things that aren't outdated, things that make sense, not necessarily the frameworks that I particularly like. Our Android developer, Kevin, was really impressed by their work as well. And I think that the only thing that they needed to do to get a really great score in my book was to support shielded transactions. But as the wallet team lead, I'm trying to work on that. And I guess a side point is even the best don't have shielded transactions. So this is something that has a close place in my heart. This was the first wallet that I ever used, and I try to be objective about it, but I still think it's the best wallet to use for someone who's getting into the crypto ecosystem the whole time. Jaxx has also evolved a lot in the last year. They rebranded to Jaxx Liberty, which is kind of cool. It kind of gives the illusion, not illusion, it kind of gives the essence of freedom, I suppose. And something really cool about this is their desktop GUI, but they also have a good mobile and web one, is that they really kind of immerse people into the crypto ecosystem right away. And even if people don't know where to get the news, how to track prices, and maybe you shouldn't use CoinMarketCap and you should use this other thing, they have everything that they need right in the app. And it is a little bit gross if you already know what you're doing, but I think that this is really cool, and it makes you feel really cool while you're using it, and it removes a lot of the complexity for a lot of people. And this also is run by Anthony out of Canada, and he's been in the crypto space since 2014, so he really knows what he's doing, and you can really tell. So I'm pretty happy with this, and I still use this as my hot wallet, in fact. The last award that I'm going to go give out is to Exodus for Best Visuals and Design. Exodus was actually founded by JP and Daniel. JP was a huge Bitcoin contributor, or so his bio says, and Daniel actually is a designer. So one of the co-founders was a designer for this wallet. It really shows. And their mission statement is actually to remove the geek requirement, keep design a priority, and to make crypto easy for everyone. So design is actually in their mission statement, which is pretty weird, but I would say that it really shows up. And they also run a really professional team. They've had about 200 plus product releases, and they support up to 100 digital assets, but it never feels cluttered. The only thing I would say about Exodus is that it's primarily geared towards people who want to build a cryptocurrency portfolio and want to hold a lot of them or trade them, so this is not something that I would recommend. It definitely has like that vibe, and just looking at it makes me want to accumulate a bunch of assets, but it makes it really easy to do so. Yeah, and I would like to add that I think Exodus and Jaxx usually have so many cryptocurrencies supported, because I believe that the way most wallets make money nowadays, because it's really hard to make money on wallets, is through the exchange functionality that they have. So whoever they integrate with, whether that be Shapeshift or Changelly, they get a cut of the exchange fees. Wallets are just not very profitable things to make, as some of us have learned and we're sad by. And I think that if we want to see a shift away from things that really encourage a lot of trading or crypto pair trading, I think that wallets need to be profitable aside from just activity and movement between, buying and selling cryptocurrency. I think that some other ways that wallets are funded at the moment include a tip.me model, which ZecWallet runs on, and I haven't seen any other wallets use any subscription-based ones, and certainly none of them actually increase the transaction fee and take a cut of it, which would be really insidious, so no one does that at the moment. But currently, the market's dominated by multi-currency wallets with exchange functionalities. And the reason why I think it is that way, it's because it takes a lot of money to run software like this, and combined with the fiat on-ramping problem, that's just how things are going. So I think if we solve that, maybe some of the other wallets would have a fighting chance. I certainly hope that we get to that point. I am going to give a little shout out to the electronic coin company Zcash reference wallet project. We got sampling transactions working on an Android device for the first time this year, and we are really excited about it. And we also have this wallet that you can maybe download, probably not, actually. But we built this wallet, and we're using this wallet to talk to some of the people in the space. I know that Gorda has actually used this reference wallet to test out how the sampling transactions work. We want to engage with other wallet providers and not only show them, hey, this actually works, but how to handle Zcash in the UI level. This is a living, breathing design document, and we can show how the SDK and Libra Zcash is exercised in this wallet as well. And I have high hopes for it. It's personally my goal in 2019 to get some of the wallets up here that I think are really great and obviously have the technical know-how to release a lot of features to get shielded addresses implemented. I think that my argument for them to implement this is one, hey, we plan on supporting shielded addresses more than transparent addresses in the future, and we're being really nice, and this is going to happen to you. And if that doesn't work, I also say shielded addresses are really cool, and you get a huge marketing boost if you were the first one to support shielded addresses. And it'd be really good for saying that you care about the community, you care about the customers and financial privacy and openness. It could really boost your narrative. I also go with the fact that, hey, there are some coins that are downstream from us, and if you, integrate this, maybe you can reuse the work in some other places. If you have some other convincing arguments, you can let me know, but I think they're working. I don't know, I'll let you know next year. With that being said, the reference wallet is only on Android right now. It can be on iOS. We're trying to hire someone who's good at building libraries on iOS to help us out so that we can work with a lot of the top competitors. A lot of the really mature wallets really want us to release on both platforms at the same time, and this is something that we don't have at ECC at the moment. So if you want shielded transactions to happen on some of these really popular wallets, I think you could totally help us out. And we would really be happy to have you. Another thing is that we are testing out some of this functionality here. I think that you've all gotten a chance to look at these cute poker chips. Geffen is sporting some ECC swag right now, which you can buy. And we are generally not going to instrument apps, but for the conference, we have instrumented every single thing so we can see everything that you do. So when you do something and it doesn't work, we'll know about it and we're going to try to fix it. But if not, you can give us feedback. And we're really excited to just show you that it works in person, to get some feedback, and we'll forward this feedback on to our partners as well. Yay. I have about 5 minutes if anyone wants to ask me some questions, but if not, I think we can just keep the show going. I don't know if it's working.
Nope. Oh, there we go. All right. Quick question. What do you think is the probability of building a successful wallet that actually charges for it? So you talked about it's impossible to make money. Let's say I make a wallet, charge $40 to download it. Will that work?
I don't know if it is going to be that successful. On a pessimistic day, I would say my answer is wallets are like websites. You need to have a web presence, and you should just have a mobile presence. And it's not going to make you money, but people will get use out of it. But that's not really compelling. I think that I personally would kind of flinch at paying $40 for an app, even though I totally think it would be worth it. And it would definitely stop a lot of people, especially in countries that need it the most, I feel like. So I don't have a good answer to that. And until I guess we find a good answer, we're going to see a lot of wallets run by big exchanges. So if you can think of it, let me know. I think that from a user experience standpoint, I feel like it's good to remove the pain of paying for something while using it. So paying it up front, I feel like would be better than having a fee per transaction, because that kind of disincentivizes you to use, because the more you use it, the more you pay, you know what I mean? So in that sense, I definitely like that idea better, but yeah, I don't know if it'll work.
I was wondering if you think there's a market for specialty wallets, like for merchants or for institutional users where you have multiple people or an organization in custody of the funds, rather than what look like a bunch of wallets that have different UX choices but are still largely aimed at the same individual user market.
Yeah. I definitely think that there should be wallets that, or point of sale system type of things. Is that what you meant? Okay. Yeah, I really think that point of sale systems should be something that needs to happen. I think that I'm just a little cautious of it happening because I feel like it takes a lot more effort to convince a company rather than a user to use cryptocurrency. And I know they have to deal with regulations, and there's a taxable event every time they accept and give back crypto, which is a total pain. And in my opinion, until the regulation changes, I don't know how willing people are going to be. But definitely, I feel like if we want cryptocurrency to be more than just decentralized Venmo and actually be able to use it in shops, we definitely need a good interface for that. And if you're building one, I would love to know. Tell me, call me, email me.
One question, why rate wallets which can't do shielded transactions so high? Why put them at an 8 out of 10? Doesn't that just encourage wallet vendors to not bother supporting shielded transactions?
That's a good question. I was actually tempted about doing that, and then I think at one point everything was rated really low. And then I got sad, and I didn't want to come up here and give everyone like 3s and 5s. And the other thing is, I feel like I tested over 20 wallets, and I mentioned my favorite 5. There were people who still, there were wallets that were rated 0 or 1 without not having shielded addresses. So I feel like sometimes the standards are low. You know, sometimes like, oh, I don't want to lose my funds when I send them, or it should not crash. Is apparently something to distinguish wallets by still in 2019. So I think that hopefully next year, maybe I can actually only consider wallets that support shielded addresses. But currently, I think that it would just be, 5 wallets, and one of the wallets is, made by someone else that tacked on Zcash, and it's a full node and something downstream. So, yeah, it's not that exciting, but I want to in the future.
You think that the wallets which do support shielded transactions have succeeded in communicating the difference to the user, much like, or analogous to the green lock in HTTPS, which I think has been well understood?
Absolutely not. I think that we definitely need to work on this, and something that I think we struggle with at ECC, or maybe Zcash in general, is that we don't want to mark transparent addresses as insecure because they're just as secure as Bitcoin transactions. They're equally secure as everything else. And a lot of people have not supported shielded yet, and we don't necessarily have something to differentiate between the two in terms of UI or something visual. But